Welcome to Your Next Move podcast with Kimberly Brown. We are back again. These are my favorite episodes, y'all, of answering your career questions. So with that, we're just going to hop right into it.
First question we have is, what are some underutilized benefits that we should be using at our companies?
Oh, underutilized benefits. So first and foremost, when you get an offer from a company, it's imperative that you look at the benefits package. Many times we're just focusing on salary and we're just looking at, well, how much money, what's going to be in my paycheck? But there are so many other benefits that you may have. And even outside of vacation time, sick time, family leave, behavioral health leave, mental health days, holidays, etc. So the first one I want you to look at is a professional development budget. So many times you may have professional development fund that you can use every single year. Some companies have budgets that are $500. Some companies have budgets that are $2,000. And fun fact, generally this goes to waste every single year. So knowing that it goes to waste in some companies, you may get lucky and your boss may be willing to throw a little extra at you because people haven't used it and it's been sitting in this fund year after year after year. Another thing that you can look into are legal fees. Many times companies have a benefit where if you need any type of legal assistance, you can use that benefit to help you find a lawyer or different services that are needed. Another thing when it comes to your overall health and wellness, there are also a whole host of things that your company can provide for you. So as a woman, something else that I looked at is egg freezing. Sometimes your company will cover one full cycle of egg freezing, or surrogacy, or having a counselor to work with throughout a process when we're talking about fertility for women. There's also employee assistance services where if you are having a really hard time in the workplace, you're able to call a number and get on-demand counseling, and they'll refer you to a therapist or counselor in your area. Those are some of my favorite benefits, in addition to gym reimbursement, car insurance discounts, phone discounts. There are so many different things. I encourage you to actually read that lengthy packet that you get when you're hired and see all of the things that you are entitled to and start to use them. Sometimes it takes a little time to set up and give the code and get all that done, but it can literally save you money. So even if your salary may not be the number that you'd like for it to be, sometimes all of these added benefits can help you and make it feel like you're making more money because you're saving money.
We go crack open that benefits packet.
Yes, indeed.
So next question, how can I build my soft skills at work?
Perfect. So when we're talking about soft skills, those could be things like communication, public speaking, things that aren't as like learning how to build a strategy for this job. So when you're thinking about your soft skills, I recommend asking your leader, what soft skills do they see in you and what soft skills would they like for you to build? Because sometimes you may feel that you're doing a great job in some areas, but how that's being projected in the workplace can be completely different. If you're not able to get that information from your manager, I recommend asking your peers or finding 3 to 5 other professionals who you interface with to give you a little bit of feedback on what soft skills are you doing really great at and what soft skills do they feel like you can improve. Once you know what these things are, then try and determine what is the ideal state. What would it look like if you perfected this? Public speaking is always an easy one. You know that you've perfected it when you're more comfortable, more confident, more concise, and have clear communication in the room. Workplace communication is another one. Do you actually see the conversations becoming easier with your peers, with your manager, etc.? I would try and find unique situations where you're able to test these skills. And this is also a great time for a mentor or a coach to really help you fine tune these skills. Sometimes it could be as easy as maybe reading a book to supplement your in the workplace learning, or it could be hiring a career and leadership development coach who's able to coach you through what this looks like and help you model and practice and essentially do mock conversations or mock trials of whatever that soft skill is to help you level up just a little bit more.
That's real good. Next question is, what are some suggestions? Dang, getting tongue-tied. What are some suggestions for when you're afraid to take the first step in your career plan?
Gosh, so this may be a little harsh. I'm trying to lighten it up when I give this response. I always think about how would you feel this time next year if you are in the same exact spot you are right now? I know for me, whenever I hit what should have been a milestone for me and I didn't do the work, I feel terrible. So while you may be scared, feel the fear and do it anyways. Doing it scared or fearful is so much better than not doing anything at all. And I'm a big believer in having a plan. In my Next Move, Best Move community, we have a course called Stop Dreaming and Start Planning. And it really helps you pull back, look at what your vision is, what is your long-term vision, what is your short-term vision, and really develop the actionable steps in order to achieve your goals or make that next step in your career plan. So let's say you have the career plan already, because I heard you say career plan, but if you don't know what that step is, it's time to break it down. And even if you're taking a small step, it's so much better than nothing. Think about what the outcome could be if you were actually to execute your plan to get there, and let that motivate you to keep moving every single day. I think people look at me sometimes as a career and leadership expert and they think that I'm never scared, or there's no interview that's tripped me up, or no leader who can make me feel inferior in a room. I still get scared all the time. My first 6 months leaving corporate America, whenever I had a tough conversation with one of my clients, in my mind, I kept on saying, let me flag this for my VP. Because in my last corporate job, my VP would generally come in or needed to be aware of things that I was doing. And I looked around and I was like, there ain't no VP here. Like, I'm the VP, I'm the manager, I'm the CEO, I'm the everything. But I still had to do it anyways. There was no option to not do it. So figure out what motivates you, figure out what can put the battery on your back. I know that I have affirmations all over my house. I live in a high rise and I have a lot of glass windows. So I literally write affirmations. So when I wake up in the morning, I see positivity coming to me. Some of them are funny. Like, I have one on my bathroom mirror that says, I am unafraid to step on next daily. Some of them that are like, God never puts limits on who I am and what I can do. So why am I putting limitations on myself? So think about what motivates you and what inspires you. When I see those affirmations, I immediately feel called to do something. And I'm reminded that I'm here for my purpose. I'm here to move forward. I'm here to execute my plan so I can operate as the highest version of myself. And again, you don't want to be in the same spot this time next year. So even if it's a little step, take it.
Let me get to stepping. Next question. How did you excel in higher education?
So higher education is one of those fields where things can feel like they're moving slow. They can feel like it takes forever to get a promotion. People have been in their jobs 20, 30 years, and they are A-okay. For me, when I was in several offices, so I worked in admissions, and I worked in career and leadership services or career services, cooperative education offices, whatever they called it, it was career services in some facet. Many times I was in roles and I would see above me, that person had been in that role for such a long time and they were not going to leave, period. They were happy. So there literally was a glass ceiling, or what felt like cement bricks above me, where I literally couldn't go because someone was not moving and there was not going to be any type of expansion where more opportunities would become available. So for me, I joined professional organizations so I can network and build relationships at other universities. So when I was ready and had the skill set, I was able to apply and go to different universities. I probably moved jobs every 2.5 to 3 years. I knew what my goal was. So when I was in higher ed, my goal was to be a director of career services. So I knew exactly what it took to be a director of career services. I looked at directors in my region and looked at their experiences. What did they usually have? Where did the experience usually come from? And I built my career plan to slowly but surely acquire those skills along the way. And as I acquired each skill, I was then qualified to apply for the next step. So I went from being a career counselor to a senior career counselor, to an assistant director, to an associate director. And then when I started applying to director jobs, I was doing all right, but then I got the opportunity to move into corporate America. So I never actually did that director of career services, But my job in corporate America, I landed a job as the director of global diversity talent acquisition strategy, and I was just as happy. So technically, I became a director, just in a different industry.
I love it. Last question. How can you develop your leadership skills as an entrepreneur?
Ooh, so as an entrepreneur, I tell folks it's so difficult because you now do everything. And depending upon what your background was before becoming an entrepreneur, it really can help you. Or sometimes you may feel like a fish out of water, especially as a solopreneur or when you have a very small team like mine, you do everything. You do a little bit of admin, you do marketing, you do communications, you do PR, you do your finance, and you do whatever your business is, whatever the product or service is. It is everything. So cultivating your leadership skills takes a little bit more intention. And I'd break it down even further. Are you looking for how you lead yourself or how you lead others? Because there's so much information that can help you. So for me, I love reading articles on Harvard Business Review about certain topics. I love reading various books about becoming and improving my management skills. I would want you to determine which one is it leading yourself or is it leading others, and then look into some resources, generally some books that can help you, or even some mentorship or some coaching for someone to train you on how to build your business and how to lead as an entrepreneur. I've had a lot of business coaches. A lot. I think in business, one of the things that I really love about being an entrepreneur is that I've learned there's this notion of if you don't understand something, get someone to teach you to expedite your process. Versus sometimes in the 9-to-5 world, I found that professionals expect to just learn it over time, or they'll stay in a role not understanding. They may not be interested in hiring a coach or finding that mentor to help them. But in business, at least in the community that I'm surrounded in, most of my coaches have coaches. It is almost ingrained. Like if you want to do this faster, if you want to make more money faster, you hire someone who could teach you the process. So especially when you're thinking about leading others and scaling a team, it's like what coaches are in your network who would be able to assist you in bridging that gap to help you move more into being a CEO versus just doing the work that you're doing every single day. I feel like I said a lot of things in that answer, but let me summarize for you. Are you looking to lead yourself? Are you looking to lead others? Potentially looking into a coach to help you, or looking into resources on like Harvard Business Review, Business Insider, and a lot of great books on leadership, and really taking the time to read it and learn. One of my favorite books is Traction, which talks a lot about scaling your business. Or looking for a coach. And please feel free to email me at podcast@manifestyourself.com if you have a follow-up question, because I'd be more than happy to dig deeper once you can clarify just a teach.
Appreciate it. That's it.
That's it. Well, with that, we finished our next episode of our career and leadership development questions. If you have any questions, concerns, if you're listening, please email podcast@manifestyourself.com, and I would love to answer your questions on a future episode. Until then, may your next move be your very best move. Thank you so much for tuning in this week to the Your Next Move podcast. Don't forget to share this episode with a colleague or friend so we can all level up together. If you enjoyed today's episode, please write a review wherever you listen to podcasts. And lastly, if you're looking to join a community of thriving professionals, I invite you to join the Next Move Best Move community, my private community of professionals that includes the Manifest Yourself signature leadership development courses, monthly lunch and learns, and more. For more information, please go to kimberlybeonline.com/community. Until next week, remember to make your next move your very best move.